Dear Joshua, if it weren't for me, you'd be here. If you were here, I wouldn't exist. My story would never have happened, but yours would. You would have been born on the 1st of October 1992, actually Granny's birthday too, so an extra special day. Joshua Winston, that's what they would have called you. I wonder how your life would have differed to mine. For as long as I can remember, my life has been plagued with ill health. Is it so terrible to think that as you, I might have escaped this? That my reality would have been so drastically altered? That starting life as a boy would mean I'd already be ahead? At 3, I had my first 2 emergency operations to drain my bowel, which had stopped working. Pretty gross, to be honest, and I was fitted with a drain to pump my waste out till my bowel recovered. Since then, my bowel has caused me problems on a daily basis. It plays by its own agenda. Sometimes I won't go to the loo for a week. Other times I can't get off the loo long enough to enjoy a cup of tea. Sadly, you will be just as susceptible as I was to this, although it's very rare in someone so young. I can tell you it's no fun, but you get used to it. After that, for a while, life was fairly straightforward. I excelled at school, and boys statistically aren't so good, so that was to my advantage. I only had 2 close friends. Boys were much more social, having a kickabout on the yard. Girls are bitchier too. I got bullied a lot. And for the record, I don't care about sticks and stones breaking bones, but words never hurting. That's just rubbish. Words cut deep and mess with your head. At least with the rough and tumble of boys, it's over with all your frustration out. And you don't hold grudges as long as girls. When I hit secondary school, things started to change. Trying to protect everyone from harm and taking it all myself really took its toll. By my mid-teens, I eventually succumbed to the pain inside and decided to take action. It felt like my life was spinning out of control. I started to take charge and restrict certain pleasures in my life, namely food. I was my own worst enemy, not that I could tell. I had never felt better. I was the master of my own body and what I put in it. At school I wouldn't eat, and at home I would squirm my way out of eating very much. I had such restraint and could suppress my appetite till it became non-existent. 90% of eating disorder sufferers are girls, so I'd like to think you would have eluded Anna and her spiteful grip. Anna was what I called the anorexic voice in my head. She was real to me, and she controlled me. I hurt myself inside and out, but I also hurt my family. On one hand, I wish I could take it all back, choose a different path. But on the other, I know this episode of my life really changed me. In hindsight, perhaps it made me stronger and more determined to do what I wanted. After constantly needing to please others for self-worth, it helped me realise that it's okay to be selfish sometimes. As horrendous as it was, and it was, my eating disorder allowed me to break down and rebuild my identity. I came out the other end with a whole new perspective on my life and what I could do with it. Still, as you, I could have avoided all the suffering, and I'd like to think you would have learned your strength of character through other means. Sadly, alongside Anna, I had other health complications, something I found out I was born with, scoliosis. Being a girl, I was 10 times more likely to suffer a curved spine, and my odds were even greater as it's hereditary in our family from Granny. Perhaps being born on her birthday meant we shared more than most. At first I was told I would need to be operated on, but this could wait till I was fully grown, when I was 18 or even 21. Unfortunately, the curve of my spine deteriorated much quicker than anticipated, and I had to have the operation when I was 15. It all happened very fast. I had 1 week's notice, and that was it. My curve was straightened out by fusing 7 vertebrae in my lumbar spine, and that should have been the end of it. However, that warm but windy Monday of April 21st, 2008 changed my life forever. And this time there's no silver lining. That day will be forever etched in my memory. Everyone hates Mondays. You would too. Start of school, the working week, The Monday morning alarm is hated by many, but that specific Monday was surely the worst in my life. I awoke in horrific pain after a 10-hour operation, which was almost twice as long as expected. Things hadn't gone particularly well, not that we knew it at the time. Everyone was just relieved I'd made it through. The waiting for Mum was awful. It was heart-wrenching knowing she couldn't do anything. Mum lives for her children. I've put her through a lot, not all my own doing, but with you maybe she could have had a more peaceful life. Who knows? I know she wouldn't change me for the world, but I haven't made things easy for her. The operation left me in chronic pain, and for a long time I just had to get on with it. It took around 6 months to recover, including learning how to walk again. Despite missing 5 months of school smack bang in the middle of my GCSEs, I still came out with 10 A stars. I began A-levels, all the time having Anna in the back of my head, and as I recovered I realised that I had a new calling in life. I took the bold decision to drop out of my A-levels and started over doing a 2-year BTEC in art and design. Art had been crucial in my recovery as a therapy, and I was passionate about helping others through the expressions of art. Switching courses also meant I met my boyfriend on my very last day when I was saying goodbye to a friend at my first college. We got chatting about photography, and he impressed me with a photo he'd taken of a humpback whale. He said he thought I was cute and liked my smile. So he stole my phone and rang himself, so he'd have my number, and me his. Smooth. I wonder what chat-up lines you would have come up with. I'd like to think you would be charming and confident, with the same smile as me. A smile can make all the difference.
Happy Valentine's, Katie. I love you.
After 2 wonderful months, he sadly moved to London, and although we both expected it to just be a summer fling, he fell in love with me. So we ended up doing 2 years long distance. It wasn't easy, but I was smitten. And many things would have been different had I not met him. He tempted me to London after my BTEC, although it is the place to be to do art. So I was eager to move away, get my independence, and get into the London art scene. Because I met Jonathan and switched to an art course, I ended up living in London, and that gave me the breakthrough I needed to see a spinal specialist, get a second opinion about my back, and finally found out how fragile my spine was. I'll spare you all the boring details, but basically the surgeon did a botched job. He didn't remove the cartilage as planned, and instead took chunks from my vertebrae. This left my spine less stable and unable to fuse. Long story short, my vertebrae were left rubbing together, which over the years caused me chronic pain. Pain I've had to endure every day. This went on for years, and my original consultants refused to believe anything was wrong, and even told me it was all in my head. It was such a relief that after 5 long years, someone was actually listening to me and taking my case seriously. They said I would need another operation to correct the errors from the first op, but due to my bowel problems and my 3rd emergency bowel op aged 18, they could only correct part of my spine and would have to enter from behind through my back instead of my side like last time. Almost 2 years on, nearing the end of my degree, I finally heard the words I'd been waiting over 6 years for. A date could be set for the operation. They wanted it done in 2 months from then, but I decided it wasn't worth putting off my degree with only half a year left, so I postponed the operation for 6 months. I'd already waited over 6 years. What was another 6 months? Nearing the end of your degree would have been the start of a new life, stepping out into the real world. You could have done any number of things, and expect a healthier wage packet than me, but for me, finishing my degree means my life will be put on hold once more. And here I am now, with a real date for my operation, the day after my degree ends. I go into theatre on the 3rd of June. It's been just over 7 years since my first operation on my back, and even though I've been desperate for this time to come, now it's round the corner, it almost feels too soon. I find myself thinking more and more about you and the life I'd have today if I were Joshua. At first I thought I'd rather be you, being ahead from the start, but I'm not sure I really believe that. My life truly has been a roller coaster, with more ups and downs than daft make, and many more to come. But even if I could cut the corners, I don't think I actually would. I am the result of those ups and downs. I would not truly be me without them. At 22, I have seen more of the real world than you ever could, both its cruelty and its blessings. I live by the mantra, the Lord never gives you more than you can handle. It doesn't make me special. It just means I'm never truly alone in those pits. So I look to the future as Katie, whatever it may hold. I am Katie. Katie Elizabeth Harrison Taylor. Born on the 1st of October 1992 on my granny's 55th birthday. I will always be my mum's unexpected baby girl, full of surprises. Not always good, but you can't have the good without the bad. I hope I've done you proud, walking in what could have been your shoes. With all the love in the world, Katie.